This is Darin Kidd, and welcome to my leadership podcast. This podcast is for network marketers that are looking to not only level up their leadership, but grow and scale their business and break through to the next level, all while having a lot of fun and making a positive impact in the lives of others. And so, in today's episode, we're going to talk about one of the most important traits of a successful leader. But before we get into that, I wanted to read you a quote that I ran across recently that I thought was extremely powerful, and I'm sure you will agree. And it's from C.S. Lewis. And here's what he said: "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending." Let me repeat that one more time. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Isn't that powerful? And I think it's really important that we take responsibility. And it took me years to really get this, but take responsibility and go, you know what? I am where I am today because of decisions that we made, good or bad. And Les Brown said, we are where we are because at some point in time, we made an appointment to be here. And when I was 25 years old and bankrupt and car repossessed, college dropout, living in a small town, depressed, I was blaming the world. And when we blame everybody else, we don't take responsibility. There's nothing we can do for it. So when I started to take that responsibility and go, okay, you know what? I'm not going to look back unless I want to go that way. So I'm going to start focusing on where I'm going, what I want, not what I don't want. And I'm going to focus on what I can do and not what I can't do. Okay, so with that being said, as I thought about, what I was going to teach on my first few episodes of this new podcast, I'm like, what are the most important things that will help create the right philosophy and attitude of the ones that are plugging in to help them have the most success? And today's topic, when we talk about it, when you hear it, you're going to go, man, that's not really a sexy topic. And that's okay, because sometimes it's not about hearing something new. It's about hearing the things that we hear over and over and over again, but we need to be reminded. And then sometimes we need to stop and just go, hey, listen, I need to look at this from a little different perspective and apply what I'm learning. And that was me. This is one, when I heard it, I'm like, I would tune out. And I go, I don't really need to hear that because I'm definitely that. When in reality, I wasn't. And so let's get right into it. It is the trait that I'm talking about is being coachable or teachable. Now, when you're building your network marketing business, the code, people go, yeah, I'm coachable, but that is code for, hey, listen, I'm coachable as long as you're telling me what I agree with, as long as you tell me what I like to hear, and as long as it doesn't make me uncomfortable, which, by the way, comfort zones are designed to keep us safe, right? Safety is safety, and security is sameness. And comfort zones are a beautiful thing, but nothing grows in a comfort zone. And so coachable is saying, look, tell me what I need to hear, not necessarily what I want to hear. And I'm going to give you an example. I've worked with many doctors. When I was building for 28 years as a distributor, I would have doctors come in, and some of them would have the attitude, hey, look, I'm a doctor. I went to school for all these years. I'm very educated. I'm not going to do these little simple, basic, cheesy things that you're sharing with me to go out and build a business. I'm going to take and I'm going to train my employees, and we're going to do all of these things. And they failed. They failed fast, and they failed hard. Then I had other doctors that came on board, and they go, hey, you know what, Darin, I'm going to do exactly like you told me to do. I'm going to leave my background at the door. And I'm smart enough to know that I went to school all those years to become a doctor. And that's a different skill set. So, just share with me exactly what I need to do, and I will follow those simple steps. And they had massive success. Now, let's talk about one of the challenges of building your business, a network marketing business, a business that you can get started for less than the price of a smartphone. The challenge is that you lead a voluntary army. How do people join the business? They go, I'm in. How do they get out? I'm out. What's easy to do is easy not to do. And leading a voluntary army means that most people are not going to do it. But if you purchased a franchise, for example, you went out and you spent, 7 figures in a McDonald's franchise, you're not going to take, McDonald's doesn't have the best hamburger. We all agree with that. I will guarantee it. But they don't have the best hamburger. But what do they sell? They sell a system. They sell convenience. And so if you go out and you spent 7 figures in a McDonald's franchise, you're going to be very coachable. And I love doing this when I'm in an audience, when I can say, hey, look, let's pretend you're walking up to the counter of McDonald's. You're facing the counter. Which side is the fry machine? And you'll hear all of them go, it's the left side. And then which side is the shake machine on? Which never works. They'll go the right side. And I go, what color's a cheeseburger wrapper? And they go, yellow. And then I go, look, you better stop eating at McDonald's so much. And everybody laughs because they know that's the system. Over 37,000 McDonald's, and they pretty much have the same recipes, the same setup. And if you buy that McDonald's, if you invest that type of money, you're going to be coachable. You're going to Hamburger University and you're going to do exactly what they say. You're not going to go, hey, you know what? This is boring. It's not sexy. I want to change the recipes. I want different packaging. We want to rearrange where the equipment is located. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to be extremely coachable. When we have the mindset, here's one of the key factors that changed how I started to grow so much faster. I started to treat my business as if I invested 7 figures or more. I had $1 million mindset, even though I didn't invest $1 million and I wasn't making $1 million yet, because the attitude comes before the money, not the other way around. So when it comes to being coachable, let me read you the definition. The definition is capable of being easily taught and trained to do something better. Capable of being easily taught and trained to do something better. You can have massive talent. There's a lot of talented people that fail. They have no success in business whatsoever. And I think that's one of the things that helped me growing up. I was never really gifted or talented. Nothing came easy for me. I had to work extremely hard at every single thing that I went out and I accomplished. You can have massive talent and not be coachable, and you're only going to go so far. So if you want to unlock your potential and really thrive, you must be coachable. Let me share with you an article that I saw in Forbes, and it was talking about a study that they did with 50,000 leaders. And each of these leaders was assessed on their coachability and the perception of their overall leadership effectiveness based off of 46 different behaviors. And the assessment collected feedback from an average of 13 people. And these are people that they work with, including their managers, their peers, people directly reporting to them, and others. And those that were rated that were least coachable, we're talking about, the first through the 10th percentile, had an overall leadership effectiveness rating of 11%. 11%. Those who were most coachable, they were in the 91st to 100th percentile, averaged an effectiveness score of 92%. That's a big difference. So being coachable is key when you want to take and you want to scale to that next level, when you want to have that breakthrough. Because you know what? Life and business, they're constantly changing. And it's true, the same thinking that got us to where we are, the same behaviors are not the same thoughts and behaviors that get us to the next level. I look back and I think that's the reason I have such a cool perspective when it comes to building, businesses, whether it's traditional or network marketing. But I look at network marketing when I first got started, and this kind of dates me, right? It's kind of like our grandparents, who said, hey, listen, you have no idea. We used to have to walk to school backwards up a hill, barefoot, beat a bear to death with our Trapper Keeper notebook. And for some of you, you're like, what the heck is a Trapper Keeper notebook? For some of you that go, oh, I know what that is. You're old like me, right? But they were telling those stories. I feel like that when I share the story with you. But I remember, man, we used to have fax packs. We would have to encourage someone to dial an 800 number, find a fax machine, which was not easy. And they got some paper fax to them, and they would dial a number, and long distance was very expensive. Then we went into, VHS tapes and CD-ROMs and DVDs. It was very difficult. And I went out and I learned. I had the right mentors and I was coachable. I'm like, look, I was a sponge, to be honest with you. I'm like, tell me what to do. As long as it's honest and ethical, I will go do it because I'm coachable. I've got desire. I'm willing to put in the work. And I would go, crush it. I remember going out before social media. All of this was face-to-face or over the phone. I got awarded for having over 1,000 personal customers, along with being a top recruiter, along with being in the top retention. And again, that's not to impress you at all, right? It's only to hopefully motivate you and inspire you, knowing, hey, look, if Darin can do it, I definitely can do it. But it's to express the power of being coachable and then implementing what you learn. But then things changed. Then social media came onto the scene. And I remember going out and hiring one of the top 20 YouTubers in Forbes. I remember hiring one of the top social media experts in Forbes as well. And they taught me exactly what to do. And that's what helped me blow up my YouTube channel. That's what helped me, grow several 100,000 followers. It wasn't that Darin Kidd had that knowledge or was that smart, but I was smart enough to be coachable and to seek out people that had what I wanted and listen to what they told me and not to debate it, not to run it through the philosophy or the filters that I had at that point, going, hey, you know what? It's going to take a different way of thinking. And I have faith that they know exactly what to do because they've been there. They say it's wise to learn from experience and it's wiser to learn from someone else's experience. And it made a massive difference. So when you're coachable, because life and business is changing at such a fast pace, what was working before may not be working today. Now, a lot of the philosophies and the principles, they will stay the same. And the tips, the strategies and the techniques may vary some, but it's important to continue to be teachable and search out, and continue to grow because we're either growing or declining. There is maintaining is a myth. We're either growing or declining. And I heard this years ago, they said either you're green and growing or you're ripe and rotten. And it's so true. We want to make sure that we can have a growth mindset and not a fixed mindset. Let's go over just a few benefits of being coachable. First, it's going to help you clarify your vision. It can help you leverage your strengths. It can help you identify your blind spots. A blind spot is called a blind spot for a reason. You can't see it. It's blind to us. Why do I have a coach in business, a coach in the gym? Everywhere I go, I try to have accountability and a coach because I know that they can see things that I don't see. When I'm in the gym and they're saying, hey, you know what? You're not doing this move right. And I had that happen the other day. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not doing it right? That's what I'm doing. They're like, no, you're not. And they can video it and they can see at a different angle and see things that you can't see. So it helps you identify your blind spots. It shows your willingness to accept feedback. It gives you the ability to improve. Can help you get back on course when we get off track. A rocket's off track on the way to the moon about 97% of the time, but it continues to readjust. You're going to continue to readjust over and over and over throughout your journey of building your business and growing your leadership. It helps promote accountability. It helps you become more productive and more efficient. Those are just a few benefits of being coachable or being teachable. Now that we've talked about the benefits of being coachable, I'm going to give you 7 quick tips on things you can do to really take that to the next level. And these are very simple, but yet they're effective. And so, look, do a self-evaluation. Ask yourself, how am I doing in each of these areas? Number 1, evaluate your mindset. Are you open to change? Number 2, put your ego in your pocket. Big egos equal small pockets. We can learn from anyone and everyone. If I sat down with you right now, I will guarantee you it would only be a few minutes of you and I talking, me asking you some questions where I can learn something from you. And so put your ego in your pocket. Number 3, don't make excuses. We can make excuses or we can go out and build a big business. We can break through the next level. We can help a lot of people. We can either do one or the other. We cannot do both. No excuses. Number 4, ask for feedback. And when you ask for feedback, the person needs to know, hey, look, you're not going to be defensive. You're not going to get your feelings hurt. Yeah, you may not like to hear it, but you should want to hear it. So just let me give you an example. The lady that's helping me edit these videos, I had asked her before, I'm like, hey, is there anything that you see or hear me doing on the video that I can do differently, that I can improve to make it better? And she had mentioned, hey, look, you're saying okay a lot. And I was like, okay. I'm joking. Yes, I did. I did say okay because she knows I like to have fun. But I'm like, man, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing that with me because I wasn't aware. And now that I'm aware, I can work to improve and not say that as much. And it worked. So that awareness leads to change. So not only ask for the feedback, but you want to embrace the feedback. Number 5, be willing to learn. We talked about that earlier. Have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. Number 6, pretty simple, but yet very effective. Once again, ask questions. It baffles me when I'm with people and they're around someone that they look up to and they respect, and all they're doing is they're talking and they're not asking questions when they could ask questions and they could learn from that time with that mentor or the person that they look up to and respect. And number seven, last but definitely not least, is you have to apply what you learn. You have to take action. We can be coachable all day long. We can learn a lot, but if we don't apply it, really we don't internalize it, and it's not going to do us any good in our business or our life if we don't go out there and implement the things that we're learning while being coachable. As we close out this episode, I wanted to offer you a free resource. If your team is not growing as fast as you would like it to, there's 5 common mistakes that I see leaders make that sabotage the growth of their organization. So if you want to learn about those 5 mistakes so you can avoid them, which will allow your team to grow much faster, then head over to darinkid.com/leadership. And yes, my name is spelled a little bit differently. And if you're not watching on YouTube, you can't see it on the screen. I'll go ahead and spell it out one time for you. It's DARINKIDD.com/leadership. But no worries, we're going to put that in the show notes as well as all the social media platforms to make sure that we can connect. Thanks for checking out today's episode. I hope you got a ton of value. And if you have not already, please hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening to this information. And feel free, another great way to get the word out is to screenshot and tag me on social. And probably the best way to do that is just grab the direct link. Makes it very easy to post it on social and to send it to your organization. It's just a lot more shareable. And then it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a positive review on Apple. So just know that you are appreciated. I'm excited for our future together. Hope you have an amazing rest of the day, and we'll see you on the next show.